Chelsea coming from behind to win by 2-1 under the lights at the Bridge last night. Let's get more from a man who made more than 100 appearances for Chelsea. Andy Townsend joins us. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Andy. How are you?
Good morning, Jeff. Ali, how are we doing?
Excellent.
Yeah,
mate.
good, thanks, mate. Good. So what did you make of the performance last night from Chelsea?
Look, weren't their best, Jeff. It wasn't, it was a bit low-key, to be fair, for that first hour. But you know what? You have plenty of games like that during the season when it's not really happening. And if you can turn them round and come out with all three, then ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a good sign. So it wasn't their best. It wasn't great, but they got the job done. And look, clearly they're a team now that have improved. And I think they've surprised us all with the way that they've been able to stay in and around that top four for as long as they have. I didn't think they would. So credit to them for that. And that's a good sign that you can win games when it's you're not really playing that great.
That was my point, Andy, earlier on talking to Jeff. I mean, I think the grand scheme of things, I think probably because Chelsea started remarkably well and there's been a little bit of a decline, you know, we're kind of looking at it now and kind of shrugging our shoulders a little bit. Because I think in the grand scheme of things, if somebody at the start of the season, the vast majority of Chelsea supporters would have been more than happy with where they are and in the current performances of the team.
Absolutely right, mate. No, there is no doubt that I think going into the season, there was a fair bit of trepidation for any Chelsea fan. They weren't really sure exactly where this was all going to end up or where it was going to go. So, look, they still look a little, I think, they look unsure at the back, not just because Levi Colwill made that rick last night, not just because I just think I've always felt all season that they look like they're going to give you a chance at the back. That's something they got to look at. The goalkeeping situation is one probably that they're going to have to address if they really want to push on from where they are. I think that's an important position. But in the main, mate, they've got a ton of players, and I think Enzo has fashioned a team that is doing well.
They have an issue at the other end as well, though, don't they, Andy, at the moment, in that Nicholas Jackson, I think it's 8 without a goal now.
Yep.
How long do they persevere with him? Is it time to give Nkunku a bit of a run in the team, which he's never really had?
Very true. I've been surprised, actually, at the fact that he's not really been given the nod for half a dozen games or something. I think, look, if he's not going to get the nod now, then I'd be surprised when he is. I mean, actually, the other day there was some talk that Chelsea might even let him go out again.
Yeah.
At this point, which surprised me. Look, I think Jackson's always going to be one of those that will be a bit of a streaky goal scorer. He'll go on a run where it's happening for him, and then he will have those spells. I think he's that sort of player where it's not quite happening. So if you're in Nkunku, if you're looking at the situation now, if you ain't getting a game now, Jeff, then you'll be wondering when you are going to get one.
It's a funny one, Andy, man. I find Jackson really frustrating because I really like him. Do you know what I mean? And I'm willing him to score goals, and I think his general game's good, apart from the most important thing, and that's putting the ball in the back of the net. Listen, mate, what about the Villa? The Villa had quite a busy window. With Unai Emery, one or two interesting signers. Rashford obviously been amongst them.
Yeah, look, that was that one come out of nowhere, didn't it? Really, right? A few days ago, and look, it's simple now for Marcus. I think two things. Look, one, forget about what the outside world say and what supporters say. What he's got to do now, when he's now turning up at Bodymore Heath, training with the Villa lads, is to get their trust, is to show them, make all them players. That's the first thing you do, Ali. As a player, when you walk into a dressing room, you want to impress those that you're getting change next to every day. You want your manager's trust. Now, Unai Emery is not going to be the sort of guy that if he don't trust you, you don't play. It's as simple as that. You ain't going to get a chance. He's not going to just toss a coin and chuck people in here, there, and everywhere. He don't do that. So Marcus is going to have to work hard. He's going to have to, first of all, impress his teammates and show everybody that he is a player and that he is that he can still absolutely operate at the highest level. Then he's got to work exceptionally hard. He's got to want to run, not be asked to run. He's got to want to charge around the field and look like he really means what he's doing, because he hasn't done that at United for some time. He's been tiptoeing around the pitch on the edges of it, looking like he hates the world. And that's all got to change. He's got to enjoy his football. And the only way you enjoy it is when you really give it everything, and then it starts to work for you. That's when football is the greatest job in the world. And he's got to get back to doing that.
Andy, brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. Have a great week.
Take care. See you soon, mate.
Thank you, Jeff. Tell Ali. Tell guys.
All the best, mate.
Interesting. Chelsea need to be in pole position before they come to the end of the season. You've seen their last 4 games of the season. They've got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, Manchester United at home, Forest away. I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than that. We don't know what sort of shape Manchester United are going to be in by then.
And the interesting thing,
really tough.
I mean, the interesting thing, that final game, as I say, we don't. There's a lot of football to be played between now and then, but dear me, that could have some relevance to that game, couldn't it?
Yeah, let's take a quick call, shall we? Chelsea 4th in the table, but you've heard already criticism for Enzo Maresca this morning. Ryan is a Chelsea fan. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Ryan.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
So what's your take on Maresca?
I'm not sold on Moresca, but I would never call for him to be sacked. I just think there's a lot of things he's got to improve as a manager if he wants to be considered Premier League quality. Now, he's been playing a goalkeeper that's made more mistakes than anyone else in the league. He's finally changed that keeper. Colwill got turned inside out against City, got bullied against Bournemouth, got bullied by Jared Bowen. This is a centre-back we're talking about here, and he's still playing. He's still getting picked to start games. You've got Jackson, who can't hit a barn door, still getting picked to start games. You've got Mark Guiu on the bench, whose last start was in the Conference League, scored a hat-trick, can't get a start in the Premier League. He's got to start making changes. If he wants to be considered, doesn't want Chelsea fans moaning, it costs a lot of money to go up there and watch that drivel that's being played at the moment.
Ryan, I'm going to say to you, mate, I take all your points, and it's difficult to argue with any of them. However, would you accept you've been pleasantly surprised at your league position, or not? Did you expect higher?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm pleasantly surprised with the league position, but expectations change throughout a season. If you're doing better than expected, then unfortunately, whether it's the fans, whether it's the board, that becomes an expectation. Now, we were second in the league. And then all that Maresca's done is beat his players down confidence-wise, telling everyone they're not good enough. And since then, there's one win in 7. Now we've got 2 wins in 8. Now it's just, there's certain things that as a manager in the Premier League with a young team, you shouldn't be doing. And that's telling everyone your team's not good enough, playing players that aren't performing, and tactics-wise, we seem to, whenever we go a goal up, we seem to then sit back, full pressure. We don't go for the kill. Yeah. And that's got to be tactics.
Interesting, Ryan. Can't argue with much of that, to be brutally honest.
Good call, mate.
Well done, mate. One more very quick call. Jack's a Chelsea fan. Morning, Jack.
Good morning, Jack.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Forum,
so
mate.
how do you see things at Chelsea?
I'm a bit on the other end. I actually think Enzo's a cracking manager, but the reason why I say that is because if you look at what he's come into a side that's so young, barely kind of, had the opportunity to come even play Premier League football. He's come into the Premier League from having worked in a championship side. And I think he's teaching the team to be resilient. He's kind of taking that kind of standpoint from, look, you're not always going to get a game, but you've got to prove to me you're going to be worth playing in the game. I'll give you a few chances after that. But if you don't actually then prove yourself after, then like he's done with the goalkeeper, Jorgensen, even though, he was a bit wobbly at the start, he's actually, hopefully he's going to get a few games to prove himself, as Sanchez has done, and obviously not come out of the other end in a good stint. But I think he's a great manager, and he's proving himself to be of a quality that in front of the camera, in front of his team, he can hold himself well. And yeah, I'm excited as to what the guy could do in the long term for us. He's questionable of who he's let go and maybe go to other clubs, but I think he's great.
Jack, good to hear. Thank you very much,
Jack.
indeed.
Sorry, guys.
Thank Enzo Maresca. Sort of dividing opinion. I think most Chelsea fans will be right behind him. That would be my guess anyway.
I know.
Apart from Andrew, who wanted him sacked.
Andrew, that was a line in the morning. Yeah. Andrew, where did you expect Chelsea to be in the league at this moment in time? 10th.
Yeah.
Where are they? 4th. Sack a manager.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.